Hey, this is your girl, msyelladiva. I'm bringing you another episode of the Family Empire Houston, Season 1, Episode 6. The boiling point. Okay? So, so at the end of last episode, they were discussing the land, and it was a lot of other people that was joining the conversation when it was just supposed to be just a few people. And so Monet was asking about the beauty shop and the event space. What is Miss Oscarine gonna do on that? And then Justin was asking a question as well as I think about the land, and they're gonna build. Are they gonna build houses on it? Are they gonna be rentals? They're gonna be selling the houses. And then Bubba, Uncle Bubba got in the conversation, and so it was just a bunch of people talking around Miss Oscarine, and so just like the grandmama did on Antoine Fisher. You remember that scene where Antoine Fisher finally met all his family, and so they were all gathered around the table, and everybody was talking and everything like that, and then grandma knocked on that table. And she did like this here. But when she knocked on that table, it was silence. That's the same thing Miss Oscarine did. Miss Oscarine did like this. And it was silence. Okay? Silent. Okay? Miss Oscarine don't play. Okay, anyway. So it was silent. So then Nikki said, I'm my parents' realtor. So, so I say we get back to the party because there's too many family members to hear. It's too many family members having too much conversation to hear, what is being said. And so then Aunt Cheryl, made her little comments saying, she always got stuff to say. Anyway, so they go back to the party. So Miss Joyce, and that's Monet and Nicole's mama, asked Lakeisha and said she asked her to speak with her. So they go in there, and so Miss Joyce asked Lakeisha, does she have any questions right now? And I think production asked her to ask Keisha that, because that seemed like it was just out of thin air. I think it was out of thin air, but anyway, that's fine. All right, so Lakeisha said, she don't know what question she have right now. She just wants to know what the truth is. So Miss Joyce says that she was angry at someone who was sticking her nose into their business, her and Uncle Frank's business, when her husband was having outside children on her. So, yeah. So, so we all know who that person was. That's Aunt Jackie. Okay. But anyway, so Lakeisha said, but in the meantime, Nicole and Monet walking into the room itself. But she said that, Lakeisha was like, well, but all this anger separated us. Yeah, separated us. Hold on. Um, yeah, separated us as far as Nicole, Monet, and Keisha. So, so, so that's her problem. Is that they shouldn't have known about the problems. The children should have not known about the problems. They should have kept that to themselves and not, you know, handed it down to the kids, basically. So, but Nicole really wants to brush the all this stuff under the rug and just want to move forward. But you can't brush it under the rug unless you confront it first. You got to confront it first and then deal with it and then come to terms with it. Then you can brush it under the rug and move forward, or you can just move forward. Okay. So, but it'll come back later on in the episode. So, Chris and Jaquetta meet up with Carmel and Lakeisha. So Chris and Jaquetta go to this kind of like a little uh what is it? So it was a bunch of food trucks, basically. I don't know, some kind of eatery place. And it was a bunch of food trucks. So they ordering Japanese, they ordering Mexican, they ordering uh barbecue, they ordering all kinds of stuff. So so they have a little smorgasbord by the time Lakeisha and Carmel get there. They had a whole smorgasbord of food. And so she was like, yeah, we love to eat. Oh, we can tell, but we can tell. So Lakeisha tells Jaquetta about the comment that her mama made. That uh Miss Joyce made. And so Jaquetta already knew who she was talking about because apparently Aunt Jackie, when she found out about Lakeisha, she went over to pick up Lakeisha and she took Lakeisha back to her house. And that's why her and Jaquetta and Jermisha are closer than her and her sisters, because apparently she wasn't allowed over there. Okay. All right. So Jaquetta was like, we knew that, well, everybody knew that um their daddy had some outside children, but they also, you know, made them family as well. Basically, they brought them into the family, so they can be family as well. Braden's basically taking all the children, okay, all the kids. Trick love the kids, okay, yeah. Anyway, so Jaquetta asked Carmel. She was asking her about, where she grew up, where she born and raised, and she said she was born and raised in San Diego. And so she was like, is that where it never rains? She was like, because Babyface said it never rains in Southern California. Come here. Come here, Jaquetta. That was Tony. Yeah. That was Tony. It never rains in Southern California. They tell me it never rains in Southern California. Okay? That was Tony. Get your 90s R&B together, girl. Together. Okay? So then she asked a question. She said, well, I know that you got kids and Lakeisha got a son. So it was a time where y'all were basically y'all like the men folk, basically. she said she said, well, she said well, now we like the plastic ones. I said, okay, Carmel. And so Jaquetta had to, tell everybody that she would strictly, the other part of it. We ain't need to know all that, sugar. We know you got a husband and that you don't go that way. You ain't even have to tell us that, okay? You ain't have to tell us that. Anyway, so Nicole goes to the beauty shop to have Monet curl her wig. And so Monet was like, I was just wondering what Miss Oscarine or Grandma or whatever, what she wanted to do with the beauty shop. And Nicole said she already got plans for the beauty shop and the event space. So plans that she ain't telling nobody else. So we'll leave that alone. Okay, all right. So so they have their monthly crab boil, and so it was what's it, Aunt Charlotte, Aunt Cheryl. And so I think it was all the aunts there, including Aunt Jackie, and then it was Jermisha, and they're shelling shrimp and deveining them. And so for the crab boil and stuff. So of course Jermisha tells her mama about what Lakeisha said to what Lakeisha said Aunt Joyce said. And so, she said Aunt Jackie was like, listen, she said once we found out about Keisha, we wanted her to be a part of the family. So I took an initiative to go over to her, to go and pick her up and bring her to the house and let her know her other side of the family. She said that she was just looking out for Keisha. And she said, and if it was the other way around, and if Uncle Frank would have married Keisha's mama, she would have did the same thing for Nicole, But she was like, I meant no harm. I didn't bring her to Aunt Joyce's house and been like, deal with your stepdaughter. She said, I brought her here so y'all she could know her cousin. And, and if Joyce wasn't ready to, deal with that, then, it's on her, but she should know her family. And I can't blame her. I mean, right is right. Right is right. She needed to know her family. However you thought about it, she needed to know her family. So, yeah. And, and Uncle Frank had his Jerry curl. Just let your soul glow. Uncle Frank had his Jerry curl. It was juicy and everything. And he was sleeping with two women. He wasn't married to neither one of them. He was sleeping with two women. Now, however, Miss Joyce was pregnant, but he didn't stop sleeping with Keisha's mama because and um Keisha and Nicole are 6 months apart. Nicole was born in January. Keisha was 5 months apart, but Keisha was born in May. So she told him she was pregnant, but he was still knocking boots with Keisha mama, and then he knocked her up. Okay? But the fact of the matter is, he still got two women pregnant, and it is what it is. Okay? It definitely is what it is. You can't go back and change it. You can't, it is what it is. So yeah, that girl though. Let your soul glow. Anyway, Miss Oscarine is driving, but she only got short distances that she's allowed to drive, basically. But she is driving, and she sure wanted to answer that phone when it was ringing. And Aunt Nikki was like, "No, we ain't doing that. You got to wait. You driving." But she's driving. I ain't mad at her. All right, so Jermisha and Jaquetta have a meeting with the Sheltons about the land, and so the Shelton do a whole presentation about the houses, what they're gonna look like, how many you're gonna have, da 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 da, and what you're gonna sell them for. And after that is all added up, it was $800,000. So you can sell the land for $800,000, or you can build houses and you go get a profit of $800,000. Now, if you sell the land, you just sell it outright. And you don't put no money into it because you don't have to put no money into it because you just selling the land. But if you build some houses, you got to put some money into building them houses. And your profit is still going to be $800,000. So they going to have to figure out what they going to do. Now, I think if they rent them, if it's a whole rental community, and they may make a profit at some point after they recoup their cost of building. So they may make a profit at some point. So I don't know what they're gonna do. How they gonna convince Miss Oscarine this is a good idea. Anyway, so they had a crawfish boil, right? And so they all sitting at the table, all the sisters, because it ain't no Uncle Frank there. I think it's all females, and including Aunt Joy, because Miss Joyce, they gonna have to tell them what they said. So Jermisha was like, we have a problem with da 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 da. Tell say and say what Aunt Joy said. Lakeisha, tell her what you said. And so she said it verbatim, like, it was a person that, she didn't say a name, but it was a person whose husband was had outside babies on her, and so she should have stayed out of it. So Aunt Jackie was like, listen, my concern was for Lakeisha. Lakeisha was my only concern. I wanted her to know her family. I didn't I didn't take her and throw her to you and say, you deal with it. No, I took her to my house because I wanted her to know her family. So that is her point. Okay. So Nicole asked, well, why couldn't Lakeisha come to our house? So Joyce was like, she didn't answer the question, but she said, well, Bubba should have initiated it, and until we worked out the things that was between us, she was good to stay where she's at. So Keisha said, so if my dad didn't make the initiative, then would you? And that's where it ended. But this is my opinion on this. Aunt Joyce, Miss Joyce, come up to the table here. With all due respect. When you married him, you basically accepted everything that transpired before you married him. So you knew he had another child. You knew that. So if you didn't accept it, then you shouldn't have walked down that aisle. You shouldn't have walked down that aisle if you couldn't accept it. So once you walked down that aisle, you accepted him and Lakeisha. So she should have been able to come to your house. You could have been pissed off and you could have took it back to your bedroom. But you accepted him and whatever came with him. Point blank, period. You accepted him and whatever came with him. You knew he had a child. An outside child. Well, it's not technically an outside child, okay? Because neither one of y'all was married. But once you married him, you knew he had a child, so you accepted that child, whether you you liked it or not, and whether you wanted to or not, you accepted that child. So this is all on you, Sugar Shack. This is all on you. I don't know if y'all already came to terms with that and y'all just revisited this, or if y'all going through that. But once you accepted his hand in marriage, you accepted everything that came with him, including Lakeisha. So even if you held a grudge, even if you was still pissed off about that whole situation, you should have took it to your room. And when you was around Lakeisha, you was happy to be around Lakeisha. Okay. You should have took it to your room or whatever. Okay. You should have took it to church and prayed to God or whatever to take that from your heart. But you accepted when you accepted his hand in marriage. Anyway, this is your girl, msyelladiva. Like, share, and subscribe. And I will be with you on the next episode. Peace.